We're seeing narrow trading ranges for the major U.S. stock averages. While the S&P and NASDAQ are still in negative territory, we're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average tick higher. Now, we saw U.S. factory orders come in higher, and we saw the trade deficit for the U.S. narrow more than expected in February. So joining me now is Jonathan Corpina of Meridian Equity Partners. John, great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it appears as though there's a bit of caution in the markets. In the FX markets, we're seeing the yen higher, and there's been more demand for gold as well as bonds. Now, given that we have the President of the United States meeting with his Chinese counterpart at the end of this week and the jobs report, what are you paying attention to?
Right, I think you said it yourself, is that there's a little bit of confusion here in the market. Investors aren't really sure what to do. There's a lot of information that's out there that's going on right now. As we speak, President Trump is speaking with major CEOs right now down in Washington. He is scheduled to meet with the Prime Minister of China coming up. We have a lot of economic data. We've got Fed speakers talking today. We've got FOMC tomorrow. We've got jobs numbers on Friday. So investors are somewhat forced to sit out of this market and just kind of watch for the sidelines for a very short period of time. So that's why we're seeing some conflicting movements in the market, where we've got some indices that are up and some that are down. But I think we're going to continue to see that trend for the rest of the week here.
And John, given that we have so many fundamentals to sift through before we hit the end of the week and find out what transpires between Trump and Xi Jinping, what are you watching for in terms of technicals? Because yesterday we saw the Russell 2000 close lower by over 1%. So given all the indicators, what's the most important?
Right, I think if you're looking at S&P right now, we're currently trading at 2354. This 2350 level has been a pivot level where we've seen it trade above and come back and trade below, and seems to be always kind of gravitate back to that area there. On the downside, 2326 has been some support, and a little bit higher on the upside because we haven't seen too much resistance on the upside when we get up there. 2374, 75 has also been a level there. But I also, I kind of think that the activity this week will kind of tighten things up a little bit. Like I said before, investors are waiting for some more information. I think the Fed is going to continue with the same blueprint script that we've seen before, and hopefully our jobs number is going to lead the Fed to making an interest rate hike in a short time.
We can't forget about that jobs report that's coming out on Friday morning. Now, I do want to hear your expectations about that, but what are your expectations for D.C. coming through on healthcare and tax reform?
Right. So, we had the healthcare reform on the table, then it was off the table, and now we've got, Republican leaders and White House officials coming back to the table. So I think that's somewhat of a good sign, and it doesn't matter which side you're on. I think anytime both parties are at the table and willing to have a conversation, I think that is a good sign. That leads to tax reform. I think that also will show a willingness for both parties to really understand that something has to happen, and the American people want something to happen. We clearly saw the way the market reacted when the healthcare reform came off the table. There was a lot of volatility in our markets. So I think it's a very good sign right now at this point that healthcare is currently being discussed, and it seems like President Trump cabinet is willing to sway a little bit and budge a little bit. And as far as the jobs numbers on Friday, I'm just expecting for no surprises, right? I mean, I think if we stay right within our range that we've kind of normally seen, I think the Fed wants things to stay remaining tight in that respect. I think that will be accepted as positive news.
Okay, Jonathan, always great to talk to you and great to get your insight. Thank you very much.
Great. Have a great day. Thank you.